I was born in Pristina, which is the capital of Kosovo. You probably heard of it. It's the youngest country in Europe. And it used to be part of Yugoslavia, which was made up of 8 countries. And in the 90s, the wars broke out in the Balkans. And now we are 7 countries. And the youngest of them is Kosovo. And you can imagine that after the war, it was very difficult to start a new life because most of the country was destroyed, many people died, and the whole economy was destroyed. And as you know, in transition periods, the first that come in are the thieves. And so we have a corrupt system, we have organized crime, so it's very difficult to operate. Right? And after I lived in Kosovo, I also lived in Switzerland for a long time. I graduated at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, which is the ETH, in 1976. So you can guess my age, more or less, now. It's a beautiful place. And, sorry, let's go ahead. Then I came back as an enthusiast again to Kosovo because the university extended with an electronics department, and I worked there because I graduated in electronics. I worked there first as an assistant and then as lecturer for many years. And in 1977, when I started, I introduced the first microprocessor at the university. That was a fantastic thing for the students. Then in 1986, I went to Switzerland to work. I was offered a job as an engineer in the Italian part of Switzerland. I worked there for several years, and then in 1993, I co-founded with a Swiss gentleman the company called New Wave Energy, which designed and manufactured uninterruptible power supply systems to back up computers and data centers from any kind of anomalies that come from the grid. And we started from scratch with 2 of us. We designed new products. Then we created a market. We were international. And in 2007, we did the IPO on the Swiss Stock Exchange. And in 2011, we sold the company to ABB. And here you can see the company. And here, when we were presenting our products at CeBIT, the biggest technology exhibition in the world. This is the stand, and that's the logo of the company New Wave. So when we sold the company, I went back to Kosovo. I was relatively young. And so I thought I didn't want to work anymore actively, but I thought I could do a lot of good work in mentoring and coaching, starting new initiatives and so on. So I founded iVenture, which was a competition for young entrepreneurs. I told you that the economy was destroyed, the private sector was very, very weak, the purchase power of the people very weak. So many people left Kosovo, the best people left Kosovo, and not many people stayed, I mean the good ones. And what happened with this competition, we froze it after 2 years because we didn't have so many compelling business ideas. We were lacking creativity. And this is because of the obsolete educational system in Kosovo, lack of entrepreneurial tradition. You know, we were a communist country for 50 years. We then went into a dictatorship, then a war, then after-war, post-conflict situation. So there was no time to be really entrepreneurial, except for those that needed to survive. So there were a lot of micro-businesses built in Kosovo. Now that we have stopped the iVenture competition, what do we do? So how do we fix that? And how do we foster creativity? Because I think that, not only me, I think it's fairly clear that the progress, we can progress only if we are creative. And so I made 2 steps back, and I established a makerspace, which is called the BONEVET, which in Albanian means do it yourself. in the town of Gjakova, 80 kilometers south of Pristina, which was completely destroyed during the war. It's a town with a great industrial tradition. Before the war in Yugoslavia, Gjakova was one of the cities with the highest employment rate in all Yugoslavia. There were many factories which were then destroyed, and they are phantom places. They don't work. The equipment is deteriorated. People have left Kosovo. The town is poor. People are without hope. It's a very depressing situation. So I thought that if we make a makerspace there and start working with the youngest, because in the makerspace we have a maker kids. If we start with the youngest, then we can maybe create new generations and start from those that are not part of the system, because the universities are also corrupt, and many students get diplomas for money, not all. We have good people as well, but I'm talking about the system. So I thought it would be much better to start with the young ones that don't have any bad luggage on themselves. And so we built BONEVET. That's where the entry. And we have created all the possible courses to create a mass of young makers, because we don't have the tradition. So we are creating first a critical mass of these makers, kids makers, to be able to then start with real creative work and projects. So after every course, every course lasts about 6 weeks, and the kids present their projects. There are no champions. Everybody's the same. We just want to show what we do. So not only do we teach them, do they learn by doing, and they have the most modern technology in their hands, but also we teach them problem solving, critical thinking, team building, which is enormously important in Kosovo. And we have more sophisticated courses in CAD/CAM, 3D modeling. We have now just built a CNC mechanical space, which you can make anything from metal, wood, plastic. We have a lot of 3D printers. We've even made our own 3D printers already, the kids have. We are now starting a new project. We purchased a couple of Twingos, old models, but new ones without transmissions and motors. So now we are building electric motors to install into these cars and drive around the town and get this idea of the green environmentally friendliness into the mentality of the people. We teach the kids also equality. We make no differences between the black and white, between the Roma and the Albanians and Serbs. We make no differences between the small and the big, between the disabled and the abled. So we are creating an environment which is a safe place for every individual to say what she or he thinks. Also diversity, we see that as an advantage. We are teaching the children, even if they disagree, that doesn't mean that they have to compete against each other. They have to complement each other. They have to understand, to cooperate. What is the major hindrance? It's wrong. What is the major obstacle should be of creativity? That's fear. And I think there are many books written about this. I've taught my children very often. I've told my children, don't do this and don't do that. I think you have as well. We have fear to make mistakes. We are ashamed when we make a mistake. We are comfortable with things that we know, but less comfortable with the things that we don't know. So we are trying to teach the kids to be open, to say what they think, and not fear anything that is new. And they have to strive for the new things, that is for this creativity. So we are actually creating a culture, and I'm calling BONEVET a stimulating environment where we will have sustainable creative culture. And as Roosevelt said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, and that is very true. So what is the potential of this makerspace? In 2015, we've had 300 makers who have gone through different courses, workshops, and so on. And then this year, we expect them to be 500. By the end of this month, they will be already 200, so we are on track. Our dream is to build 10 BONEVETs, 10 makerspaces in all Kosovo, which would be fairly unique. We are the only ones in the Balkans that have a makerspace. And in 10 years, this is very conservative, I would like to have more than 20,000 makers in those 10 altogether accumulated makers. And if you can imagine what that means we will create a new generation of engineers, of doctors, of managers, of entrepreneurs, and why not leaders? So we are actually creating a new mindset. These people are not part of the system which we have now, but we can't change the system by fighting or by revolution or imagine a bad educational system if you want to start to reform it now. It's so painful and takes long, and I won't live that. So we thought that the best way is to be quiet and do things with children and make them grow into the system and then disrupt it. And if we can do that, then I think we are getting somewhere. It may seem a little bit too optimistic, but I think if we are steady in what we're doing and what we've done until now, I think we have a chance to get there. And I can see that also from the reactions from many people now, because BONEVET now has become a brand, if you wish, for creativity. And I think we are getting more and more followers, not only from the children, from the students, but also from the general public opinion. Before the summit, we had a summit last year on the 1st of October in Gjakova at BONEVET. And this is Lek Sherka. He is the direct manager of BONEVET in Gjakova. Epi was there, Janice and Etienne, we were all there. We had 100 people. And that was the first time that we talked about crowdsourcing and crowdfunding in Kosovo, which was exactly what I wanted to, because I wanted to open the horizon of these kids about crowdsourcing and crowdfunding and the possibilities of getting to funds. So what did we get from that? We know now what crowdsourcing and crowdfunding is. We have successfully organized a crowdfunding campaign on our web page of BONEVET during just before the summit, and then at the summit we closed it. We were raising 4,000 euros to help the girls and the boys in their scholarships, the fees for the BONEVET. It's not so much money, but as the population is very poor in Gjakova, if they have a son and a girl and they want to bring them to BONEVET and they only have money for one, they will send the boy and not the girl. So we very often have 10 boys applying for a course and no girls. But at BONEVET, we have a rule: a course cannot start if there's not 50% girls and 50% boys. So we take the 5 boys out of the course, put them in another course, and we pay for the girls the fee for their attendance to the courses. So we have a 100% gender balance for everything. Even our staff is mixed. Our mentors are mixed. So we're trying to get this culture into the mindset of everybody. And now we are fairly close to launch a platform, a crowdfunding platform, which is called Kosovo Ideas. This is a unique platform in Kosovo for anybody who, not business, it's more social. Anybody that has a good idea that will help our social life improve, they can make a project and they can then launch it on this platform. Thank you.